If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You magnificent bastard, I read your book. I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Captain.
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 Captain. Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
No, not yet. Don't pass out on me yet.
Of course you realize this means war.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. Come inside, the show's about to start. Guaranteed to blow your head apart. You gotta see the show. It's rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon radio show. It is August the 4th, Tuesday, August the 4th, the year of our Lord 2020. And I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, always spelled over the K. It's just a mere 2 miles east of the locus of evil on the entire left coast of the Bill Mill, the belly of the beast, the Capitol building in downtown Sacramento at 10th and L Streets, where late at night you can hear the death of common sense and its concomitant wail as it wafts from that putrefying edifice. Be forewarned, what you're about to hear for the next 2 hours is my opinion and my opinion only. A reminder, because of the fear porn that has gripped this nation, the saloon isn't open, but I'm still serving stiff drinks. Facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, intent, and common sense out the back door. And another reminder, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law, we talk about it all here at the Saloon, where the speech is free but the booze is not. It's 2020, and I am done with bipartisanship and compromise. This is the new age of modern political warfare because, make no mistake, we are at war. It all began with a soft coup against President Trump. which means that it's a war against you and me. And either two things are going to happen. There will be utter capitulation by conservatives, or essentially there will be a second civil war. Now, in what form that takes, whether it's philosophical, whether it's verbose, or whether it actually gets down to bad things, I don't know and I can't say. I really do not know. Simply, if for no other reason than everything we're discovering in 2020 changes by the moment, almost by the microsecond. We have never been, that I can recall in my life, subject to as changeable a time in America as we are now. In chat, let's see, in SHR chat, we have Mike Pasqua, Sergeant Booker, Jack Alexander, who's going to be on in just a moment, Whiskey Dale, and two others. Now, I haven't cranked up Facebook chat because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, I was a little late in getting the show started because I, along with Sackhead Sean, we were looking at Twitter at a particular individual's site where this guy has probably 50, 60 videos coagulated of the Beirut explosion that occurred today near the docks. And I was saying to myself, this is it's astounding that anybody lived at all. On the other hand, it's highly illustrative of the nature of explosions. So I have a plan. There is a plan for tonight. We will get to Jack Alexander. And as a matter of fact, since he's here, Jack, are you there? Can you say hi?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. We will get to you, and specifically the reason why I wanted to have you on, because it's more about Australia, and where Jack and I have been speaking now for about a year, I'd say. I've known you for about a year now, haven't I, Jack? Right around there?
Yeah, it'll be about that. Yeah.
Okay. And in that time, and I can remember saying to him, and saying to people in general, I thought, well, Australia has got to be a great country. I would love to see Australia. As a matter of fact, if the United States gets too stupid, maybe that's a place to go. With the caveat that you can't go to Australia unless it's changed, and Jack, you can tell me, unless you have a trade that you can use to support yourself. In other words, if you're not self-supporting, you're not welcome in Australia. I'm guessing that has changed, Jack Alexander?
Yes and no. It depends on what your ethnicity is. If you happen to belong to someone of a jihadi persuasion, you can be as non-skilled as possible and, swim the 80 miles.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Between Indonesia into the northern parts of the country, and after a couple of years in an immigration camp, and you've bankrupted the legal aid system, you'll probably get residency and so on. That's how a lot of people do it now. But if you are, say, from an educated country like the United States, and you happen to be someone of conservative politics and so on, unless you've got money or something that is a skill set that could be used, then no, you're screwed, mate.
Okay, all right, good to know. Today, I may as well go to this right now because I'm going to talk about this just for a moment. If any of you happen to be on Twitter, Sackhead Sean pointed this guy out to me. And if you think that you've seen a fraction of the videos that occurred with regard to this Beirut explosion, and if you haven't been on the planet and you just beamed back from the planet Zephron, for example, and you weren't aware of what happened earlier today in Beirut, Lebanon, a big-ass explosion occurred. There are a number of citations as to why they think the explosion occurred. From the numerous videos that I've seen, it's pretty clear that there were two separate explosions. One of the first, I should say, as they're indicating, somehow fireworks were involved with this thing. So after all the videos that I've witnessed, you can see some little sparklies in the first, following the first explosion. It's the second explosion that's going to catch you unawares. As I indicated, if you happen to be on Twitter, find this dude at NAT, capital NAT, SECJEFF, like National Security Jeff, at capital NAT, SECJEFF. This guy is an astounding repository of tons of videos. So what you do is just kind of scroll down a little bit, find one of the videos, start the chain from there, and it just goes on and on and on. Let me see if I can get this to play. As I indicated, there were two explosions, and I have not played this over the years yet, so I don't know. This obviously will not capture the awesome nature of explosions. I'm just going to play this, and we'll see what we get. This is the first explosion. There's the second. Here's the first explosion. The second. Now, listen to it again. It sounds as though there were three separate explosions. The first initial explosion, and that's if you get to the closer videos, you can see some of the little sparklies that are occurring. I think those are fireworks. Then you'll hear what you think is the second explosion, and that's true. That is the cooking off of the second explosion. Then you're going to hear what appears to be a third explosion, and that's not the third explosion. That's the air pressure finally getting to the people that are taking the camera, that have the camera, that are filming this on video. So listen, you'll hear it like this. 1, 2. The third explosion isn't the explosion. It's just the overpressure reaching the guy with the camera. Second. Third. In any event, some people sent messages to me and said something similar to, oh my God, did we just witness, because Beirut is the hometown of tons of terrorism. Some people are saying that Hamas has control of the docks, completely unverified. Some people are saying that this is essentially the equivalent of ANFO kicking off, which is what brought down the Murrah building in Oklahoma City that Timothy McVeigh, and I can't think of the name of the other guy, cooked off, and blew the entire front off the building with a truck. And this is multiple tons bigger than that. This essentially leveled the entire city of Beirut. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's ANFO, which is ammonium nitrate and fuel oil, or some kind of a derivative of that. Because when you look at it, it's orange in nature. And a little important safety tip from me to you, because I was on EOD for a while. If you have an orange-ish explosion, what that tells you is the reaction is chemical in nature. That is to say, it's a very hot origin, but it's non-nuclear. And you can tell because if it's anything nuclear, well, number one, you won't really be able to see it for long and remember it. But number two, if you do, you'll see it's, you'll see it's white and yellow in nature, which means the heat that's created is infinitely greater than what we see in Beirut. Jack Alexander, any thoughts on the explosion that occurred in Beirut?
I'm just catching up on some of those other videos that you have pointed out, and the shockwave the traveling shockwave of that. I have not seen a shockwave that big come from a conventional explosive. My good, and I worked a lot with explosives when I was in the military.
But it's a wonderful illustration of overpressure and a shock wave.
Oh, yeah.
It's you couldn't get a better video to visually illustrate what happens in an explosion only on a massive, massive scale like this. Eventually, folks, and Jack, you'll get to a video that's taken on the water. And when you get to that video and see it, you'll not only be able to see the shockwave, the overpressure, but you'll be able to watch its effects on the water as it travels to the people taking the video on the boat. There are incredible scenes here, and at least the good portion. People were saying that it affected buildings for up to 60 miles out, and I don't doubt that at all, especially over the water. When there's less in the way, shock waves will travel faster over water because there are no obstacles in the way. That having been said, I don't think there's anybody in Beirut that will have a piece of glass back in their home in months. I just don't think that's going to happen. So you better hope it doesn't rain or anything.
Oh, it's the Arab summer. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they will. So any thoughts of that? I've heard terrorism. I've heard fireworks. I've heard stored ANFO from terrorism that was going to be later transported subsequently to Africa to be detonated. Any thoughts as to the origin of this, Jack Alexander?
The color looks wrong for ANFO. That really orangey and then dark brown smoke looks wrong for ANFO. But similar.
You're thinking more chemical in nature? You're thinking more, I don't know, PETN or anything like that?
PETN, no. Maybe TEPN, because that is unstable. It's easy to make, and no one please call up and ask for the rest, because I'm not going to tell you. I know Beasley's not going to tell you, but TEPN, if it's not handled correctly, is what's it's so easy to make, but it's so easy for bomb makers to screw up, because it makes nitroglycerin look absolutely safe to handle. I'm getting the feeling it looks like that, and the shockwave, they've set off. Then they've set off something else, some stockpile of something else. So my guess is that there's TEPN and then maybe some ANFO or RDX there.
Okay, I could go with the RDX. However, you and I both know one thing that it's not. It's not going to be C4.
No.
And I know why. Can you tell folks why it... Folks, C4 is basically a moldable plastic explosive. There's C4, C5, and various other compounds. And it's moldable in terms of it can stick to objects. You can kind of form it around things. You can create a shaped explosive with it. You'll find it in claymores, for example. It's a wonderful demolishing, a destroying demolition. You can use it in buildings to, like I say, for various forms of shape charges. But Jack Alexander, why isn't that building the result of C4?
To me, the shockwave was all wrong. C4 is a very fast-acting and demolition explosive, and the shockwave to me looked like it was all wrong for that. It was a slower order explosive.
There you go.
Leads me to believe that it is something either improvised or Russian.
Why isn't my bell belling? There we go. Okay. God, Bell, don't fail me. And you also brought up another interesting point.
And it's not thermite either. It's not a thermite-based explosive either. A cutting charge. There'd be far more sparks in it.
Well, yes, and it would be brighter. It would be whiter. The nature of the smoke. And you mentioned something. There are low order and high order explosives. And the difference between those are the compounds that are used and the things that you want to do with a low order and a high order explosive. That was a hell of a show, though. I have to say that. I'm going to move on to this. I'm just watching this over and over and over. Folks, if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. It's pretty amazing. Here's a point where a black MSNBC guy asks Vernon Jones, who is a representative, if he's a paid operative. Number one, it's incredibly cynical, and well, I'll just play this and let you hear where leftists are these days. Two black guys. And one essentially accuses, well, let's listen.
Are you a paid campaign surrogate? Are you being compensated?
Let me be clear. You get paid to shape a liberal narrative. You get paid to attack this president. I don't get a dime for this president. I don't get a dime from the campaign. Everything I've done has been me and based on my principles. And see, that's the problem. When an African American that's elected official,
I did not raise your
Let me finish now. Let me finish.
Whoa. You're not going to imply that I asked that question because you're black.
So don't ask me that. You only ask me that because I don't fit your narrative.
Bingo.
No, this president never offered anything. I don't want anything from this president. It's what I can do for my country. And you need to accept that many other African Americans and others support this president because of his policies. And to insult me to say, am I getting paid?
I've asked the same question. I've asked the same question
and that's
of
Democrats
who come on.
MSNBC and their narrative to keep blacks silent who happen to support this president. Why can't I be like white liberals or other whites? Nobody questioned they're getting paid. So I have to get paid. Do you ask Democrats, do they get paid?
I just said if you're
paid by Joe Biden.
I just said to you.
Have you ever asked any host on your show that they've been paid by Joe Biden?
State Representative Vernon Jones. Representative Jones, thank you.
Yeah. He can't wait to get him out of there as quickly as possible. And then this just came out. Let's see, when is this? I believe this came out yesterday, but I just became aware of it today. I don't frequently... do you watch Fox News, Jack Alexander, with any kind of regularity?
Not anymore.
I don't watch it as much as I used to. I'm very selective in whom I watch. Occasionally, I will go one channel up, at least if you're on my cable presentation, and watch Fox Business News. And people have been asking, what is it? This is only about 45 seconds. This is Lou Dobbs talking about an individual that has basically not come up in conversation for quite some time. And when we get done, Jack Alexander, I'd like your thoughts about this.
Breaking news tonight, President Trump telling us just moments ago on this broadcast what he is hearing about the Justice Department investigation of Obamagate.
We caught them spying. Now it's up to our Attorney General. As you know, I've wanted them to do it. I didn't want to get overly involved. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I do hear it's breathtaking what they found. That's all I can say, breathtaking. And hopefully it'll come out soon. But it's beyond what anybody ever thought even possible, how bad it is. How bad it is and how corrupt it is. But I'm going to let them do that. I'm not going to do that. It's a horrible thing that took place, and it should never be allowed to happen to another president.
Jack Alexander, number one, thoughts about that and about the Durham. We'll get into a couple questions about the Durham investigation in just a moment, but your first initial thought about hearing that.
Oh, look, I've been waiting for charges to be laid in a long time. It should have happened a very long time ago. I mean, it should have happened with Jeff Sessions. The evidence was already there, but Sessions turned out to have less spine than a jellyfish. But I don't know. It seems like they're still playing politics with it.
Yeah. Now, timing, as we know, and I've known for a long time, timing is everything. And a lot of people have been saying something similar to, well, Durham's been very quiet. And if things haven't gotten out, then there's no there. Having said that, do you believe, Jack Alexander, that we will have any kind of information out before the November 3rd election?
Probably. I'm not holding my breath.
Okay, and if it doesn't come out before the November 3rd election, was there any point to it at all?
No. Unless they follow through with prosecution. You know, justice should never work to a politically expedient time frame, in my opinion. But it would have been better to have had these prosecutions well underway long before now, to avoid the argument of it being political, being politicized. But after the election, I mean, there's still a need for justice to be done. My hope is that indictments will be made and we'll see trials. But I'm not holding my breath.
Okay. Another aspect I'd like to point out, and this is, let's see, what do we got? 2 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. And then when we come back, I'm going to tease this a little bit. I have a new segment that I'm going to try on everyone tonight. And I want you folks to weigh in and tell me whether you'd like to hear more of it. I won't tell you what it is right now. You'll just hear the intro, and then I'll do the bit by myself. And you let me know if you think it's something that I should continue with every show. That having been said, are you a little surprised, Jack Alexander, as I am, that with some of these other investigations, even with Mueller, there were some leaks? And I haven't heard anything leaking from the multiple Durham investigations. Does that lead you to believe anything one way or the other, Jack Alexander?
No, I'm quite sure that Durham has made it very clear that anyone leaks anything, you will be indicted along with them, so that there's actually an incentive for them to keep their damn mouth shut.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have Jack Alexander here for the rest of the first hour. The way it's going to go tonight is Heads SHAUN is going to be here for the second hour, and we will weigh in with all sorts of scurrilous thoughts, both fast and bulbous, both types, A and B, and, of course, more buttery political goodness. If Jack wishes to hang around, he is certainly more than welcome. I am going to be breaking, coming back, and then giving you a brand new, I guess this would be similar to a department here in the Saloon. I'm BZ. You're listening to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. Don't go anywhere. Well, yeah, you could, because it'll be about 5 minutes. Maybe it's a good time to go to the electric winkle chamber. Perhaps.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian, Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half hour of the Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. In Facebook, welcome to In Facebook Chat. Now, I cannot chat there because I'm still on suspension until late August. But in the Facebook chat room, welcome to Jack and to Mike. Welcome to Marcia Ness. Welcome to Jimmy Collins. Welcome to Jeremy Hanson. And thank you for being there. As I say, I can't talk to you. I can't be in the chat room with you. Facebook doesn't like me. And as a matter of fact, as you all know, Facebook is throttling the hell out of me on Facebook and making sure that I get as few number of views as possible. While I'm talking about Facebook, if you're a devotee of the Second Amendment, firearms, tactical training, etc., go to the USGOA, the U.S. Gun Owners Association, right there on Facebook, USGOA. Good place to go for all your Second Amendment and tactical training articles, evaluations, etc., right there. Now, I told you, of course, I have tons of things for tonight. One of the things that, let's just do this. I'll hold up just 1 second for my new department. I may as well do this because I haven't done this in a while.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's a happy story that no one is telling you about. Gee, I can't imagine why. Per Rasmussen, President Trump's approval rating is at 51%. Now, that might be to most individuals, for a president at this time in a term, that's pretty good. Contrast this, shall we say. Obama's approval rating at the same point in his presidency at this time was 44%. Trump's is at 51%. Those who strongly approve of Trump are at 40%. And it's because of that and any number of other things that I firmly believe that Trump is going to win the Electoral College. Now, it's going to be thin. But I also believe this time around he's going to pick up the popular vote as well. Something that a lot of people... Oh, yeah. Okay. Here's another story that I think is... this falls under a happy story. I'll just let... By the way, folks, did you know about this? Do you know who Warren Wilhelm is? Jack Alexander, do you know who Warren Wilhelm is?
No, I don't.
Warren Wilhelm happens to be... Well, let me tell you a little bit about him. Warren Wilhelm, he's a rich kid. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His parents had to leave the federal jobs that they had, past tense, because they were communist. He left college, Warren Wilhelm, to go to Nicaragua in the 80s. And he really, really admired that cool cat, the Soviet-backed socialist Sandinista in Nicaragua. So he comes back, William Wilhelm comes back to America, and he joins the Nicaragua Solidarity Movement of New York, that should give you a clue, whose goal was to end capitalism and replace it with Democrat socialism. In 1994, when he married and honeymooned in Cuba. He's historically been very proud of his Marxist work. He worked for both of the Clinton campaigns, and in 2001, Jack Alexander, he changed his name to...
Bill de Blasio.
Bill de Blasio. So let's listen. Bill is making a threat to everyone, folks, and he wants you to pay for his mistakes.
By the New York Police Department, shooting incidents in New York City in July were up 177% over July of last year. Murders were up by nearly 59%. Burglaries up 31% over July of 2019. Are you failing? What's going on? Are you keeping New York City residents safe right now?
Look, we have the strongest police department in the whole country, but we are seeing this all over cities, all over the nation. It's been a massive dislocation. People don't have jobs. There isn't school. There aren't houses of worship until recently weren't open. And you talk about every element of our society, Wolf. This is what's contributing to this massive surge that we're all experiencing. But the NYPD is fighting back. We put a variety of new strategies out there. We're working much more closely with communities to help stop the violence. Look, we need help. Let's be clear. The help we need is to make sure we can keep all of our public services, where you're talking about safety, health, education, they're all on the line now if we do not get federal support soon. And I'm very worried about these stimulus talks in Washington, Wolf, because they seem to be going nowhere fast. My challenge is, where am I going to have the people to do this work? I may have to do as many as layoffs of 22,000 city employees from every department by October 1st if I don't get federal help.
Okay, do you hear the blackmail, folks? This is Mayor Warren Wilhelm saying, okay, I'm going to lay off 22,000 City of New York employees if I don't get your federal taxpayer cash. That's to say the people in Iowa, you need to pay for New York. The people in Louisiana, you need to pay for New York. The people in Connecticut, you need to pay for New York. The people in Washington, you need to pay for New York. The people in Arizona, the people in New Mexico, the people in California, always spell it with a K. You need to cough up some of your American taxpayer dollars to get Bill de Blasio out of a hole that he dug for himself. Warren Wilhelm, you dragged New York down. New York voters, New Yorkers, you voted for him. So shut up, New Yorkers, live with it, and Bill de Blasio, shut the fuck up and start firing 22,000 people, because only one individual put you in that hole. That's you, William.
So I know we can handle all these problems. We've proven we can before, but we can't do it without the skilled personnel, the cops, the firefighters, the healthcare workers, the teachers. That's the biggest threat right now.
Teachers who all throughout the United States have essentially said, without some exceptions, we're not going back to work. Specifically in Los Angeles, we're not going back to work unless you defund the police, unless you stop charter schools. If kids have an opportunity to be better educated than something we can provide, we're not going back to school. Question for everyone, including Jack Alexander. Why is it that we are even remotely paying any of these teachers, and we should not pay them if they don't go back to school? Is there a similar situation with regard to that in Australia? Are teachers in Australia, Jack Alexander, saying, "Nah, we're not going back to school. Screw it. No, we're not going back."
Well, it's not so much the teachers here at the moment, it's the state government that have sent the kids home. And, of course, the teachers' unions have supported it wholeheartedly because of this second round of COVID and the level 4 restrictions that are in place. You know, special needs kids be damned, like my second youngest is autistic. He needs that regularity in his life. And, you know, he loves going to school. He loves being, he's got some good friends there. And, you know, like most autistic kids, when you break the routine, it becomes a problem. You know, we can't exactly put a face mask on him because that also upsets him. And, now we're being forced to homeschool. But the downside to that is when parents start getting involved with homeschooling, that filter of socialism that is also taught has been removed, and then you're having to explain to teachers and principals, well, why did you use, in my case, what in earth possessed you to use the Constitution of the United States as a reader for your elementary school age children? Why on earth would you teach your children that sort of shit?
Well, if you're not going to live it out, if you're not going to have anything to do with it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is a perfect time now, since we got about 15 minutes for the first hour. I saw you come out on Facebook. I couldn't reply, obviously. But you said that now there's a curfew and a ban going on in Australia. And can you tell us the nature of this curfew and this ban in Australia?
Okay, now that they've reached stage 4 with the COVID lockdowns in Victoria, the Premier of the state, which is similar to the Governor, has, and they're now nicknaming him Kim Jong-dan for the levels that they've gone. And surprisingly, I have had to get most of this information from Alex frigging Jones because the local media won't cover it. When I have to get new Australian news from Alex Jones, there's some serious cover-up shit going on. But in the state of Victoria at the moment, they're now declaring it a disaster, meaning that police now have the power to enter your home without a warrant, hold you down, stick a knee to the back of your neck, and swab you to test you and everyone in the house to see whether you've got COVID. And they can do that, and they can enter without a warrant. It is now illegal to be even a consenting adult unless you are employed in a necessary field to be outside of your home between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. So, with the exception of medical emergencies, or you are employed in one of the essential areas like doctors, nurses, first responders, and so on, you're home. Outside of those hours, outside of the curfew, you're only legally allowed to leave your home for 4 reasons: shopping for food and essential items, giving health care to a family member at another location, daily exercise with other restrictions, and to go off to your place of work, assuming that they haven't shut that down either. And the Governor, Daniel Andrews, has said, well, we can no longer have people simply out and about for no good reason whatsoever. Freedom be damned. You can go outside for exercise, but you can't be in a group of more than 2 people, even if they're from the same family. So I can't even take my kids, because I'm in a small townhouse with a very small yard, no room for the kids to play. I can't take my 2 kids up to the park at the end of the street to play on the playground equipment, because that would be 3 people.
Jeremy Hanson in chat, Jack Alexander, wants to know, are they enforcing the rules there in Australia, those rules?
Oh, yes, because it's turned into one mother of a revenue raiser, because not many people are out driving. They're not getting the revenues from traffic citations. I've already had one argument with with law enforcement who wanted to give me a $2,000 citation for not wearing my face mask while driving alone in my own vehicle.
Okay, in the United States, we call people like that stupid.
Yeah. Now, I'm at getting old. You'll agree, getting old sucks. But I'm now at an age where,
true,
for me to drive a motor vehicle legally, I have to wear corrective lenses. I'm guessing you're probably in the same boat. Now, if I have a face mask on, and it's winter in Australia at the moment, my glasses immediately fog up with me just breathing. But the cop thought it was more important for me to have the face mask on than my ability to safely operate a motor vehicle with unobstructed vision. And I am kicking myself for not having my cell phone up on the dash where I could have easily turned on the camera. Because with me fumbling around in my pocket trying to get my cell phone out, I wanted to record this guy explaining to me why it was so important for me to wear a mask and not be in a condition where I could safely operate the motor vehicle.
Okay, I can see we're going to have to take up a collection, and we're going to have to get you that great invention here in the U.S. called the rear view mirror dash cam. And it faces backwards, it faces forwards, it faces to the side. Okay, we're going to take up a collection. We're going to get one of those. We're going to send it to you. Jeremy Hanson, by the way, in Facebook chat says, quote,
"Holy shit.
Holy shit." And that's the reason I wanted to have you on here tonight. Because they realize the threat that you pose to yourself that you might give you Wuhan 19, you bastard.
Now, in the 2 weeks that this has been running, just when I've been going around, and you know, a lot of the groups now, people are now waking up because being cold and flu season, it's also a time that a lot of people get cold sores on their faces.
Yes.
And with the face being forced to wear the face masks, it's spreading that cold sore virus all over their faces. I mean, they could be. Some people have got so many sores on their faces at the moment, they could be cast as orcs in the next Lord of the Rings. Not to mention, you know, that level of infection in someone. And I'd be more worried about them spreading the cold sore infection around than COVID.
This is just... Okay, I'm looking at an article from MSN. Melbourne, Australia, Australia's second biggest city, has gone into stage 4 lockdown after reporting a new spike of coronavirus infections. Okay, stop just for a second, because, folks, I'm going to do the terrible thing and interject some statistics here. Damn me. Now, I'm talking about totality as of, let's see, that I can determine as of today's date. In all of Australia, 2,000 million square miles of Australia, there have been a confirmed 18,000, all this time, a confirmed 18,729 cases. Recovered 10,790. The stats I have here don't give me hospitalizations. That's a story for another day. But in all of this time, since Australia has been laboring under Wuhan 19, there are, I hope you're sitting down, ladies and gentlemen, because these, to me and to Jack, these are tyrannical stipulations against the people of Australia. There have been 232 deaths. And that's it. On a country that is its own continent. That's all they have for deaths. So the next logical question, Jack Alexander speaking to me live from Australia, is 232 deaths. I don't know what the hospitalizations are, but my guess, comparatively speaking, to Europe, just about any other country, they're damn few. And my guess would be that the hospital system in Australia is not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. So what's the purpose of constricting the rights even further of Australians? Why?
Look, I wish I had an answer for you. I have been, I had an old friend and mentor who is a state politician, and I hit her with some hard questions, and even she is now not returning my emails. I can't get any information out of the state government's media liaison office because, as an independent commentator and journalist, I don't have any state government credentials, and so they're refusing to give information out except to those specially credentialed members of the media who are happy to be trained parrots. You know, I have posed questions to anyone I can in the state government. You know, why is it that now after, and I found this for my show, there have been 60 separate studies that I found that were worldwide, including one from Johns Hopkins in the United States that showed that the holy trinity of chloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc sulfate cures, not treats, not just treats the symptoms, but cures coronavirus. It kills it dead. And it does it almost immediately. People with some of the worst breathing issues because of this have shown improvements in hours. So there is no need for a vaccine. They keep talking about for a vaccine. And I said, well, hang on. Why do we need a vaccine rushed to market when, A, vaccines only work 30% of the time, and that there is a cure that has had 60 separate studies done on it? Oh, but there's no money in that. See, that's what this is all. This is all about making money for the biotech companies, and the governments are jerking off no end because it has given them an excuse to turn. Okay, Australia, the country when Western civilization started here, it was a giant penal colony. Well, congratulations. Australia is now another giant penal colony. And in the state of Victoria, the other states in the country are saying, we are not likely to let anyone who resides in the state of Victoria travel outside of that state without papers, but general restrictions will be in place for probably 2 years or more. Could you imagine if somebody isolated, let's see, Victoria is the size of, population-wise, is similar to, say, the state of Utah. They're pretty close in population sizes. Could you imagine if the state of Utah was completely isolated from the rest of the country? You weren't allowed to travel in there and see the great, the scenery and support the businesses and so on. They wouldn't stand for it in the United States. Admittedly, look, I know there's a lot of people out there that would like to see Utah isolated because, well, it's full of us pesky Mormons, but, it's still not going to happen. And this is my big warning to America. You have a Bill of Rights. You have a Constitution that says you have these rights. They're unalienable and they can't be removed. The Australian Constitution is a list of privileges granted to the, and that's how it's phrased. The Crown affords the citizens of Australia the privilege of. Now, a privilege, if you're, remember back to when you're a child, as you got older, you were given privileges. You misbehaved. Not only did you get slapped, you got your privileges revoked. And the downside to all of this, it's only the law-abiding citizens of Victoria that are getting slapped and their privileges revoked. This second infection was created by Muslims that had been placed into subsidized government housing, high-rise buildings, who, in spite of their infectious status, are still, to this day, going to work every night and delivering things for Uber Eats and all of these other ones, and still spreading the infection. Because if you say anything against the Muslim community, you are immediately labeled as a racist and an Islamophobe. And why is this still continuing in Victoria? Because they will not stop the infected people from spreading it around because of this whole bullshit race card.
Jack Alexander, hold that thought. We got to take a break. That is the reason that I wanted to speak to you tonight. Again, Australia has been sort of the perfect petri dish. You think California, this is how bad it is. Jack sent me a message today saying, you think California is bad? Always spell it with a K. Listen to what's going on in Australia. This is a clarion call. This is a warning to everyone in the United States. This could be coming here, particularly if you allow Biden to win November 3rd. Or, magically, this could happen too. It could just all go away. And we'll open up the entire United States. When we come back, Sackhead Sean is here. I want to introduce my new department on the show. Jack is still going to be here. Jack, you're welcome to stay. And we'll have sort of a conversazione between everybody that is still here. And if you want to call in when you come back, when I come back, folks, it's 575-208-4481, 575-208-4481, 575-208-4481. We'll be right back after this. Jack will continue. Sackhead Sean will be here.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York. The Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
This is Shannon Wright.
And this is Michael Wright.
Reminding you to listen
to The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Every Monday through Thursday.
7 to 9 a.m.
Right here on SHRmedia.com.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the unpleasant blind guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense Elite radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the unpleasant blind guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we are back. I am BZ. That is Sackhead Sean, somewhere over there.
Oh, yes.
And we're also talking to Jack Alexander. It is 9... Hello!
Jack, my friend, sir, it is a pleasure as always.
It's 9:07 on the left coast. It's 12:07 on the east coast. It's...
What time is it where Jack is?
Well, the cool thing about...
2:07 Wednesday afternoon.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
yes.
The cool thing is when you talk to Jack, he knows everything about yesterday, which is today. So I try to make a point of not asking him for the winning lottery numbers.
That caught me off guard.
Because he already knows what they are, and I've tried not to take advantage of Jack. We have this thing that he doesn't tell me how to run a radio show, and he asked me to promise not to ask him for all the winning lottery numbers.
Well, and if you did ask him to run a radio show, his is good, so it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay. All right.
Oh, look, the way things are at the moment, if the whole lottery number thing, I would happily give you the lotto numbers. We will split it 50-50, and I can get my family the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Hey, Jack.
How many kangaroos have you eaten today?
Jesus. Okay, go ahead. That's you can field that one, Jack.
Actually, we had some tacos the other night made with ground-up kangaroo meat.
So it's funny, I thought of you the other night. I watched a documentary on, I believe it's called the Indian Railroad Express. It runs cross-country in Australia.
The Indian Express, yeah.
And I watched that documentary, and that is on my list to do before I die.
Bucket list?
Yeah, it looked gorgeous. Like, it really looked like a fun ride, and it's amazing how immense, and it's like this country too. It's amazing how immense it is, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, exactly.
There are some really good train rides here in Australia, and look, while it might be a terrible place to retire to. It is still a fantastic place to visit when this bullshit goes away. The Queenslander is a great trip, or you could also put in the Capricornian, which travels half the same distance. Indian Pacific is another one. The GAN is another great train ride that you could do. That one goes from Adelaide up through the centre of the country up to Darwin, along the old Afghan camel routes.
Well,
a lot of the...
Go ahead,
Yep.
sir. Nope, finish, please. I didn't mean to cut you.
A lot of the country was opened up by Afghanis who ran camel trains to bring supplies into the center of the country. Hence the GAN, the name of the train.
Well,
although they always refuse to take missionaries at Christmas time, the Christmas ham.
No
Because it offended
Imagine
Allah.
that. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
I mean, they've been fucking with us since before we had electricity in Australia.
Jack, I want to ask you one final question about Wuhan 19. In Australia, there are, there's Western Australia, for states, there's Western Australia, Northern Territory, there's Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria. Did I get them all right?
Northern Territory isn't actually a state, and you left out Tasmania.
Oh, Tasmania, down below. Okay.
What's the one everyone makes fun of?
Fun of?
That depends on what state you're from. If it's incest jokes, it's definitely Tasmania.
Okay.
They're all married, their cousins down.
Just wanted to make sure. That's the redneck country. Got it.
Jack, I wanted to ask you this. The proscription that's going on that you just got through talking about late in the first hour was in Victoria, state of Victoria. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there are 3 big cities in Victoria. Big may be relative, but you can tell me. There's Melbourne is one of the big ones. You're not far from Melbourne, if I'm mistaken. You're kind of not too terribly far.
I'm in the rural area, about an hour north of Melbourne, yeah.
Okay. So there's Melbourne, Adelaide, and I'm missing one. Canberra?
No.
Is that in Victoria?
No. None of those. Only Melbourne's in Victoria.
Okay.
Melbourne's the state...
You suck at
Melbourne's
this.
the state capital of Victoria. Adelaide is actually the state capital of South Australia, and Canberra is the national capital in the ACT, which is our the Australian equivalent of DC.
Okay, and where's Brisbane?
Brisbane is the state capital of Queensland.
Okay.
That's further north. That's all I know. It's further north.
Yeah. That's where I spent a lot of time growing up. I was born in Queensland, so...
Oh, I've heard about you people.
All right. Well, enough for maps of Australia with BZ.
I'm still proud of the fact that most Australians think that the sun shines... that Queenslanders think that the sun shines out of our assholes, and I am happy to let them believe that.
During the break, Sackhead Sean and I were talking about this sound.
Yes.
Can you recognize that sound, Jack Alexander?
He's Aussie. I don't know.
That sounded either like a 12-gauge shotgun or a lever action.
Nope. That's definitely a 12-gauge.
And one of the reasons
that is an electronic 870. That's not a legitimate 870. There's not enough depth into it.
Well, yeah, it's just...
Okay.
Oh. I feel like Joe E. Ross.
Hold on. Finish your 870 comment.
No, I'll let
At
you
his
say
age,
It might actually be a felony for me to even hear that sound.
That's right. And that's
Jack,
in Australia.
Jack, at his age, I got to keep him on point.
You could be in big trouble.
We were talking shotguns, and all of a sudden, he was like talking about butterflies.
Jesus. No, I was talking about the butterfly effect.
Jesus.
So Sackhead Sean was saying for self-defense, for home defense, he likes Mr. Shotgun.
Yeah.
And he's saying it's cheaper self-defense than, I don't know, if you had an AR and you're pissing away all those 223 rounds.
And I don't want anyone to confuse anything. If you have a 223 and you're defending your house with it, balls onto you.
Yeah, more power to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't happen to have your friendly Winchester,
and if you have a 308
or Mossberg,
and you need to put a hole in every single person that shows up at your front door,
that's right. If you line them all up, you can do it too.
I still will buy you a beer afterwards.
That's right.
There's no issue with it. I'm lazy, so for me, the shotgun with a double aught buck, front door. If there's like 6-7 people, that's only 3 rounds.
Yeah, really, and shotgun shells are not that expensive.
Nope. And at 10 yards, I mean, I am squashing coconuts.
You're still doing
no problems. Questions asked.
You're still doing.
I could whistle through their body parts that have holes in it. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're not wrong.
You get a good wind after I put a hole in them, and it's gonna. It's perfect.
Okay. I'm going to break this.
Jack has to use a plastic knife because he's in Australia.
That's right.
Poor
Jesus,
bastard.
it's going to be like
It's going to be like a plastic knife here because of the gang violence and stuff here. To go and buy plastic cutlery, you have to get carded like you're buying booze.
Jack,
you've got to show ID.
It's like downtown London. You'll be issued a spork.
Well,
and it can only be plastic.
Here's the situation. I've been listening to Jack and you for a long time. I've always listened when Jack was on with you. Jack's one of those people that like I have come to care about through the show. And it's one of those, Jack, how soon can we get you back here for good? Because I feel bad, you poor son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll sponsor you.
Yeah.
Do you need a sponsor?
No, Jack needs...
please.
You got it.
Oh, Jack needs money.
Oh, I'll give you a sponsor. Not financial, but I'll be like, hey, he's okay.
Yeah. Jack, you've spent what? $100,000 or more?
Probably closer to $250,000
Oh,
trying to self-fund my own immigration.
Is that not insane?
And I get it. Look, and Jack, you may, if you take offense to this, I don't give a shit.
And I can
this
vouch
is
for
one
that.
of those things. It's worth it to me.
He really doesn't.
Because the people that come here the right way are the ones that actually want to be here. And I know it's expensive. I know it's brutal. I know in Jack's situation, like, all jokes aside, absolutely, I'd buy Jack a beer, take him out shooting. Like, we'd have a party of it. But by and large, if I can't personalize it, by and large, as an American, I want to make sure the people that are coming here actually want to do it for the right reasons, like Jack.
Well,
and Jack, by the way, when you do come here, I know it's going to be Texas. I won't be far away here shortly, and we'll have to rectify the beer and shooting part.
On ribs.
Well, yeah.
Don't forget ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Earl and ribs? Oh.
Hey, don't bring up Earl and ribs, because I taught Earl how to make ribs.
Oh, please.
I don't want him pulling the black guy. I can make rib bullshit.
I would believe you
taught
Jesus. Earl how to make ribs in Texas. I would believe that.
At the risk of pissing away my invite, you have not had ribs until you've had mine.
Oh, no, I'll challenge that. Ribs. Aussies can barbecue. First of all, the fact that you brought up my ex-partner, and you're going to argue that with me, I will make sure he tells you the truth that he's texting me. Actually, I can show you the text to prove that he's asking me about ribs. Jack.
Okay. All right.
I 100%. So actually, after 2 weeks ago when I was on the show with you, I got into a whole bunch of Aussie culture, Aussie documentaries. Barbecue in Australia, I need to check out because it is supposed to be out of control amazing.
No, I'm going to disagree with that.
Ooh.
The general, it's changing now. This with more American influence, barbecue is changing in Australia now. It used to be some really bad beef or pork sausages on the barbecue and meat that was overcooked. There was not a lot of variety. There was no seasoning in it. That overcooked. Now, thank God, is changing.
Okay, because the documentary I saw was an Aussie dude, and he was talking about barbecue in Australia and how it's become very prevalent, and maybe as of late, and I missed that part. But the recipes he was working with and how he was doing his process, I've been smoking ribs and making ribs for 15 years now. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty damn good at it. And I watched this guy, and I was like, that guy's got some shit going on. Like, I knew that guy knew what was up. So I was like, all right, I got to check out Australia Barbecue.
Okay, let me ask both of you guys. I got a question.
Okay.
Because I found some of the best ribs. There's when I was working warrants, there's a buddy of mine named Rick Taylor. And we had American Detective with us. And we had a big old party for them leaving at his house, a big pool party. And I had his ribs. They were the best ribs I've ever had. He told me that what he does, though, is that he'll boil his ribs first.
Nope.
And then put them on the barbecue.
Well, that's because he hates himself.
So I'm curious.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious what you guys think about that.
No, you got to do a rub at least 24 hours. You got to use mustard as your binder. And Jack, you and I can exchange recipes anytime you want, baby. I use mustard as my binder. Chili sauce. I actually throw a little bit of ground coffee into mine because it gives a nice little deep flavor, and it caramelizes well.
Crunchy.
Yeah, there's my problem. I'm allergic to coffee.
Oh, you poor son of a bitch.
Okay, but let me ask you guys this. In totality, the both of you and everybody that's listening.
I was about to give my recipe.
I know. Well, don't. Good God, you could make money off of that, mister. I'll go into any rib house in the United States with a couple of exceptions down south.
Mm-hmm.
And I get overcooked meat.
Yeah.
It's too damn expensive.
Oh, naturally.
And it's covered with sauce that masks what I should really be tasting. Why do people overcook the hell out of ribs every damn time?
So I do my ribs 6 hours in the smoker at 210 degrees. And I only sauce, so I will, if I make a couple racks, like I have one kid that likes sauce on and one kid that likes it dry and likes a dip sauce. So I do it both ways, and I don't think when it comes to sauce on or off that there's a wrong answer there. Me personally, I can see both sides of it. When I make my sauce, I make more of a spicy Carolina sauce and more of a yellow sauce versus a red deep brown sugar sauce. I like a little bite to my ribs. I don't like them to fall apart and just be mush in your mouth. I want you to chew on it a little bit, and I want you to chew your ribs when you're eating it so you get all the flavors of everything I marinated for 24 hours.
Jeremy Hanson in the Facebook chat says horseradish mustard as a binder and honey.
Oh, I can see honey as a binder. But then you're going for a much sweeter... So my sauce won't work for that. The sauce that I make personally will not work for that. Jack, what do you guys use for a binder, and what do you guys use for seasoning? Look, let's make this an international thing, baby.
Why not? Why not?
The ribs that I like doing, I don't actually have a dry rub on there, but I am actually marinating mine in a sauce that will caramelize up when it's in the smoker. It is made with ketchup manis, which is an Indonesian style of thick soy sauce.
I know what it is, actually.
Sorry?
I knew what that was, actually.
Wow, okay.
What, soy sauce?
No, the thick soy sauce. It's different than regular soy sauce. It's sweeter, too.
Yeah.
And thicker.
Yeah. And way thicker, yeah. And a nice hickory smoke barbecue sauce and some sweet chili. And, depending on the heat tolerance of who you're cooking it for, you can either get a regular sweet chili or you can go for the hotter sweet chili on there. And I will marinate the ribs in that for at least 24 hours beforehand. And it just sticks to the side of everything because it's so thick and gloopy. That goes into the smoker and 210, 225, and then I will just heavy smoke the crap out of that for 6 to 8 hours, and they will be the best ribs you've had.
And they're not dry.
And definitely not dry, and it is definitely one of the big recipes that's in my cookbook.
Well, I want to challenge you to that. I want to try it. But you know how serious I am about this, Jack? Are you looking at the camera right now? Are you looking at the show?
Hang on. Facebook is frozen for me, so I can just see a blurry blue T-shirt for you.
I make my own hot sauce.
Oh, that's a great label, too.
Fantastic.
That's a great label.
Oh, yeah.
Custom. What's it say?
Garlic hot sauce. This is like garlicky Tabasco, but with a lot more flavor. So I'm serious about this shit.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and the people that are listening. Maybe it's a thing. Do most people like dry ribs? Because that's the only damn thing I ever get served.
I think you're at 50-50.
Dry ribs.
I think
Do people
50-50.
like dry ribs?
No. So when you go to a store or when you go to a restaurant and you buy pre-made ribs, they've been, unless you go to one of the specialty places, they've been sitting in that smoker, even if it's an electric commercial smoker, for 14, 16 hours.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
So
how can you keep them
you're getting that juice
moist
that's just
at all?
falling out. 4 to 7, maybe 8 hours is like your glory. Anything in that, and again, Jack, 210 to 225, you're at the perfect temperature. You're not pissing away all the good juices. You're getting rid of the fat. You're breaking down the muscle and the tendons so it's nice and chewy. You're doing all good things with it. And when you take that bite into it, especially if you're doing a St. Louis or a baby back, something where there's a lot of meat up the top part, you're getting that lovely chew. It hits the back of your tongue. That's where you need to be. And I'll tell you, you go to commercial places like Dick's. Dick's has great barbecue sauce, but their ribs are super just fall apart. I don't like fall apart ribs.
You can get ribs at Dick's Sporting Good?
No. Dickies
I didn't know that. Oh, you mean Dickies.
Dickies.
Okay.
And I don't think fall apart ribs are good. I want you to be able to pull hard and maybe get the meat out, but I want you to chew because that's where the flavor is. You're masticating, not masturbating, Jack, you pervert.
God, I know.
You're masticating.
I could hear what he was saying. I really could.
You're masticating that flavor, and as you eat and as you chew, obviously your tongue and your mouth secretes more saliva and your taste buds open up. So chewing a rib, chewing a brisket, any of those things, even a sausage, is super important. If you can get it down by chewing 3 times and then chucking it into your stomach, it's not a good rib.
Wow. Okay. Now, Jeremy Hanson in Facebook
ribs,
chat.
If I get my ribs right, and I'm way out of practice at doing ribs because
Pussy.
I'm sorry, I refuse to pay $20 a pound for ribs here.
Oh,
that sucks. Jeremy Hanson in Facebook chat says dry ribs suck, and yes, definitely. And he also makes the observation he thinks Memphis barbecue.
I like Memphis barbecue.
Is the best in the world.
Yeah, I make a Memphis sauce too.
Okay, so you too, because I'm not a big barbecue dude. What's the diff between Memphis barbecue and, I don't know, anything else? Is it just the spice?
Well, first of all, Jack wanted to finish because he was hitting at $20 a pound, so I want him to finish.
Oh, well.
Yeah. When I can do my ribs, the bone will pull out of them cleanly, but the meat is still has a bit of chew to it, so it's not going to fall apart all that much. But you can just slide that bone out cleanly.
No, and I think that's the way it should be. And if you go to a Memphis, so you go to a Southern barbecue sauce, a lot of brown sugar, a lot of molasses, a lot of sweet. You go to Carolina.
Is that the difference?
Yeah. Well, hold on. I'm explaining it to you. Calm your jets, old man.
Shit.
You go to a Carolina sauce. And it's a more mustardy yellow sauce. There's a little bit more of a tang to it. Memphis style is more spicy versus a tang, and I don't know how to explain that. The Carolina sauce with that tang, there's a heavy mustard flavor to it, in a good way, and not in a bad way. You get to Tennessee, and you're in more of a vinegar spice kind of flavor. It's super amazing, super yummy. I do like making a Tennessee-style sauce. A Memphis style is what they call it. Lot of vinegar. I make homemade ketchup when I make it, before I make it. There is some brown sugar. There's some chili powder. There is some spicy, whatever you choose to throw in it for the spice. A lot of people like to use chilies. I personally think if you go straight up with a Tabasco-style chili, that's the best way to go, and you grind it up and just toss it in and let it go. It's not super hot, but it's got a little bit, there's some Scoville there, but it's also very thin. It's not a heavy, goopy, brown sugar, a sludgy sauce. I don't like that on ribs. I think that's a horrible way to present ribs.
It has a nice tartness up in the front of the palate.
Yes.
And then at the back of the palate, you just get that nice warming feeling, like knocking back a good aged bourbon.
Yeah, 100% yes.
Jeremy Hanson says sweet and spicy is Memphis.
Yeah, no, Memphis, you get the brown, you throw brown sugar into it. You absolutely do. And the brown sugar hits you first, a little bit of sweet. You're like, oh, that's nice. And then you get that nice, rich spice. And it's not a hot spice. I think that's where a lot of people confuse the Memphis barbecue sauce. It's not a hot spice. It's a flavorful spice. You feel it all around your mouth, top, bottom, front of palate, back of palate. Because you have your chili powder, I like to throw a little cumin in mine just to add a little bit of depth to it. And it is the Memphis style sauce. It's hard to argue with for flavor. It's really good flavor.
Okay, I promised this about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago now. What we've done is we've had Rib Talk with BZ, and we'll be right back after this, kids. Hey.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right. We're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is he that is me, bringing perspective from across the sea. Join me, Jack Alexander, 4 days a week for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the news and issues affecting life and liberty here in the USA. I'll show you what the mainstream media refuses to. Politics, border security, defense, healthcare, travel, nothing is off limits. Catch the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast each Monday to Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere good podcasts can be found. Also, check out the website, www.jackalexanderexperiment.com.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you balance as host, and C.S. Bennett, co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense League radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On ADL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. It's the final half hour, the final 25, here on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show.
Hey, Jack's got a cookbook coming out.
I saw that. Folks, if you are not in SHR Media chat, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. That's, I mean, I can see you in Facebook chat. I can't talk to you in Facebook chat.
Because he's
for
banned.
obvious reasons.
Because he's such an evil human being.
Because I am an evil human being.
Hey, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have to hook up off the air because we both share a love of cooking.
Yeah.
And I think that would be beneficial to both of us. And as my extending of the olive branch on how important it is, I have BZ to try my hot sauce that I made. And he's going to try it live and on the air. Because as we were going off the air, he was like, well, I can't do hot sauce anymore. And I said, my hot sauce has flavor. It's not just spice. There's a little bit of flavor there.
He wants to.
I want to make
sure
him suffer.
That the water is off to the entire building.
Oh, I shut it off.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
The only thing here is my vodka.
Wait a minute, vodka? You don't drink vodka.
What is it with SHR Media and you guys drinking all that communist
Is it
potato
actually
juice?
vodka?
I don't drink vodka often. Normally, I'm a bourbon guy. I
That's
love
what
my
I thought.
bourbon.
You like
but,
your
Well,
dark
that's
liquors.
No, I do like my dark liquors. Every once in a while, I like to throw a curveball and taste something different just because.
Okay. I'm going to do this, folks. You tell me if you like this new segment, because it's about to kick off right here.
You going to ditch the hot sauce?
Bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago Death Toll Update. Courtesy of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Okay. You guys didn't hear that. Okay, I'm going to play it one more time.
I heard it.
You were talking over it. Jesus. God, I can't get no respect.
The Bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago Death Toll Update. Courtesy of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
See, I like that. I think it's got a certain panache
perfect.
to it.
I think it has a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, a certain je ne sais homicide.
Je ne sais homicide.
So, folks, go to HeyJackass.com. Let's do that. Let's check in right now. Final July totals. Shot and
What's
killed.
the number over there, BZ?
Final July totals, 96 people shot and killed. Shot and wounded, only 496.
Well, that sounds like the summer of love.
I know. Total shot, 592. Total homicides.
Only 592?
I know. Total homicides, 107. That's just for July. Week in progress now. That's August 2nd to August 8th. Shot and killed 3. Shot and wounded, 25. Total shot, 28. Total homicides, 3. Year to date, this is the good one. This is the good one that everybody's going to begin applause for. Shot and killed 417.
Jesus.
Shot and wounded, 1,942. Total shot, 2,359. Total homicides, 456. That's right. You heard it here first. Total homicides, 456. Yay!
It is a lovely city, isn't it?
So I think, I just want to know, folks.
I like the intro. I like the segment.
Is that a yay or a nay?
That's a yay.
Is that a keeper?
That's a keeper.
Okay.
Jack, what's the murder rate in Brisbane?
In Brisbane, I'm not sure.
Not by kangaroos.
Yeah, right. Never give a damn kangaroo a gun. Those pouches, they're big enough for a full damn AK. Don't you think it isn't? Do you know what all those roos carry in those pouches? And you don't, do you?
How do you do a modified stance search on a kangaroo?
Boy, that'd be. Oh, and you gotta watch it. You gotta watch out for their tail.
Yeah.
And they can leap back on their tail and claw you with their back feet.
And click, yeah. I mean, when kangaroos fight, yes, they do the little jabs with the little front paws, but when it comes to the kill blow, no, they lean back on their tail and use their hind legs, and their center nail will eviscerate like a velociraptor.
Yeah.
So you want to pat down a kangaroo, you want to do it very dang carefully.
Yeah, I'd suggest doing it. Hey, all the rest of Australia. I said this in Florida. I'll say it of Australia too. There isn't one thing in Florida or Australia that doesn't want to kill you and eat you. Not one damn thing. So because of that, and the fact that you can't be armed. Maybe everybody in Australia should start to wear those really thin, like chainmail shark suits.
Hell yeah!
So that if you get bitten, you get
sampled. You also have to worry about sharks there.
Sure, and land sharks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And being eviscerated by kangaroos. The only people that are not, the only creatures that are nice are, I don't know, maybe your next door neighbor. Now, Sean wanted me to sample this.
Okay, so Jack. As my olive branch to you that we have to discuss off air some cooking, I decided to make BZ suffer on the air. And I presented some of my homemade hot sauce. And this is just Mexican chilies, a little bit of vinegar, garlic.
Are you serious? You put Mexican chilies in this? Did you really?
You're okay. I have a defibrillator in the other room.
You better make it an AED.
Hey, I'm good at foot-to-chest resuscitation. Just put it on your finger, you pussy.
Okay. Well, I'm on video. Okay.
I'm not even in his will. It's not bad.
Okay, initially, not bad. It's ganging up on me.
It's not that bad.
This is ganging up on me.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on. Some people can take hot stuff. By the way, I just want to let you know so that you have this to look forward to. When you get older, your taste buds change.
Look, I'm 43. I don't know how much more it's going to change at this point.
Yeah. Rookie.
Oh, Jesus. That's the best part is if you threw two of us in a car right now, I would be the guy taking paper every time. I'm fucking 43 years old.
And at that time,
Junior man gets the paper.
Yeah,
really, asshole?
Yeah, and about that time,
is that how this is going to work?
In the briefing room,
run, kid, get him. You'd be driving every night.
That's right,
and I'd be running.
And in briefing, you'd have to sit in the front.
I'd be the runner. Can you imagine?
Yeah, you would.
So many foot pills. Yeah. I have to run.
Yeah, call me on the radio when you get him.
Jesus. Yeah, you won't ever hear from me. I'll be behind a building trying to catch my breath.
Oh,
I just thought about that. I would be.
Eventually, I'd sashay my ass up there, wherever it is. Actually, I'd drive my ass over to where you were.
I'd be the junior man.
Yeah, you would.
I can't even think about that.
Yeah, 20 years in the street. 20 years in the street, and you think, Fuck me.
I got it.
How did this happen?
I don't ever have to pull paper again. Nope, I would.
Who is the asshole that put this old dude with me?
Oh, shit. I'd be
gotta
trying
talk
to
to
kill you every night.
I got to talk to the sergeant. Wait, he is the sergeant.
God, the sergeant was a dick tonight, huh?
No kidding.
Oh, sorry, BZ. That was you.
Yeah, that was me.
I just...
Okay,
just
now
hit me
I'm
like
sure
a freight
anybody
train.
else would say that's really good.
Would they? I wouldn't.
You don't like that?
You
wait.
No.
You gave me something.
You
gave me something that you don't like.
No, I thought we were talking about me taking paper.
Oh, okay.
No, I love my hot sauce. Okay. Jesus.
Now, is your other hot sauce better than that?
I made a Caribbean hot sauce that has mangoes in it and some Scotch bonnets. It's a lot spicier, but it's really got a good flavor to it. This is my garlic hot sauce that has a lot of garlic flavor to it. Kind of like that, just a lot of garlic overtones. I also did a little cardamom in it just to add a little bit of a different tang, and it came out super good too. So we're really quick.
How quick?
We're super quick. We're talking about Junior Man and all this shit, and we're making jokes. Today's the anniversary of my dad's death, and my dad was a police officer for 24 years. Was one of my biggest inspirations, obviously, and my hero. And I just want to toast to my dad. Really quick while we're on the air. He was a great dude. He was my best friend up until the day he died. That lucky son of a bitch. Yeah, chug that back, would you? And all jokes aside, shaped every part of me in the right ways and showed me what it was like to be a good person. My dad was a hard ass. My dad was, you didn't screw around with him, but he had a great sense of humor, and right from wrong was the most important thing, and doing right by other people. Whether you knew him or not, it was always important to take care of those who couldn't take care of themselves. And so to Dad, it's been 16 years. I miss you. I love you. And you son of a bitch, you always made it look good.
People that know what they're doing make it look easy.
So if you're having a cocktail, Jack, I know it's 2:07 on Wednesday afternoon, but you're Australian, so you guys drink as soon as you wake up. Have a cocktail.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And,
look, it's 5 o'clock in Australia right now.
Son of a bitch, it is.
Imagine that. Imagine it's 5 o'clock in somewhere.
So to my old man, Shlanta. Did we lose Jack?
That's a spicy meat. I know the slider's open.
He hasn't made a smart-ass comment in like 5 minutes.
Well, give him time.
I'm going to make a smart... You've given props to your old man. Like, I'm going to give a smart... just respect your old man.
He would respect you for it. He had a sense of humor like you wouldn't believe. I joke about him being dead all the time.
Yeah. Even Sergeant Booker in chat says, hey, cheers.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
My dad was one of those people that if you didn't joke about him being dead, he'd be angry at you.
Okay.
he had a great sense of humor.
So what? Now he's a real ladies' man. He's stiff every night.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll bet you guys don't have this.
I can't wait to tell my mother that one.
I bet you guys don't have a compilation of songs that you want played when you kick the bucket.
I don't.
I do.
Do you really?
I do.
Oh, shit.
You bet I do.
I wanted to
Monty Python's on it.
Yeah, I could see Monty Python.
Stevie Ray Vaughan is on it.
Stevie Ray's awesome.
Yeah, Life by the Drop. And Jeremy Hanson in chat says Chicago has double the shooting deaths of Australia's total COVID deaths.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Oh, that's in a weekend.
Yeah.
That's a light day for Chicago.
Yeah, stabbing, Australia is going to win. If you do stabbing to stabbing, Australia is going to win.
Oh, look, if you leave Chicago and New York and LA out of the shooting stats, Australia beats the rest of the United States combined.
Well, and if you
just leaving out those three jurisdictions.
Yeah, and if you drop Baltimore and DC proper, we end up being like, I want to say 47th in the country for homicides.
Oh yeah, if you leave out the big places that are all leftist controlled, then you have Sweden beating us.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Everyone wants to ignore that, but that's 100% truth.
I want to play an audio cut for you guys that I just discovered today. The what is it? NFAC, not fucking around
Oh, this guy.
Coalition.
Oh, I love this
like
guy.
this.
This guy is like, I play this when I want to go to sleep and giggle.
I know, but it's not the one you're thinking of.
Oh.
This guy actually makes a mistake, and this is new. And I think I got it wrong. NF, no, it's not that one.
We're not that lucky.
No, you're not that lucky, because that is funny as hell. The NFAC, not fucking around, Coalition Company, something like that. I forget.
Coalition.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm not sure what the C was. But this guy is apparently named Grandmaster J.
Yes, he is.
And he, if you listen really closely, he admits that these guys are being paid. Listen closely.
Everybody want to get on the bandwagon now because they're giving out money. They're giving out money. Right, but they ain't doing shit. That's why the churches ain't doing shit, because they're giving them out money to set them. Yeah. When you get time, everything happened. Church was the place you met to deal with stuff. Now, don't do it now. Bro.
Now he just put his hands up to his lips and told the other guy, shh.
Yep.
No.
Well, but you look at, there was an Antifa protest this week where they were yelling at Soros to give them money. If you are under the guise that Antifa, professional protesters, I don't even want to say BLM, but professional protesters, if you are under the belief that they are not funded and paid specifically by Soros and a lot of these other people, your head is buried so far in the sand, you get to see Jack's front lawn.
Where do they get buses that have such great graphics on them?
Yeah.
For one thing.
Oh, yeah.
They bust these shit sticks into all these various locations. And, God, do I have it?
And
I wasn't going to play this tonight, but I will.
And here's the thing, like Australia, UK, they have some uprising right now with the protest. You're not seeing it as much as you are in America because so go America, so go all, right? So all the money gets focused on America because we have the biggest political stage. Jack, maybe I'm wrong, but most people in your country probably know more about American politics than they do in their own country, just because of the media.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, our half-hour news programs each night will probably have 5 minutes worth of Australian news. The rest of it is usually the United States, and then maybe a little bit of rest for the rest of the world, and then it'll be 15 minutes of sport.
Well, you need to know what cricket happened.
Oh, God.
Jack, who's the news channel?
Only if you want the paint to dry.
I actually like watching cricket. It's a fun sport to me.
I like watching crickets, too. Or the cricket races. They're the ground version of the submarine races, only different and smaller.
Well,
not quite so fast.
You like the submarine races over at Faces. I know you. Jack,
that's really an inside joke.
Who's the news channel that is starting to make a lot of conservative leanings? Is it Australia 3 or Channel 3, where they're doing a lot of documentaries that are very pro-conservative American?
Australia did a great documentary on Epstein a couple of months ago.
There's one channel in Australia that the documentary and the op-ed section, it's usually a single anchor, and it is very conservative.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Jack, is that right?
Not that I know of.
I'll start shipping it to you.
Okay, he wants to know then.
I mean, we really only have 3 commercial networks here. We've got the 10 network, the 9 network, and the 7 network. And all then we've got 2 run by the government. We've got the ABC, which is the Australian equivalent of the BBC. And then we've got SBS, the Special Broadcasting Service, which is basically a platform to watch French porn. Or porn films in a foreign language.
God, I don't get French porn.
Good. So when I visit you in Australia, now I know what to watch in the hotel room. Go on.
That's right. And it ain't NPR.
But, and there's a lot of the bigger cities have a small community broadcaster, but I mean that's usually college kids and all sorts of socialist indoctrination and so on. But
there's one I've seen pop up a lot, and it's been very conservative a lot of pro-Trump, a lot of pro-conservative.
I tell you what, if you see it,
I'll
if you send it
start
to
shipping
Jack,
I'll start
send it to
shipping
me too.
Yeah.
I would be very interested in picking up stuff like that too.
'Cause I can't think of who the hell that is.
Yeah. Me neither.
Unless there is a new. It might be one of the cable one of the small news things within the Foxtel, the only cable carrier in the country.
Interesting.
What was his name? Paul Murray. I think you might be talking about Paul Murray. And yeah, the only place that will show him, he'd been kicked off all of the free-to-air networks for being...
is it a single guy, Sean?
Too right.
Or is it a bunch of people?
It seems to be the same older gentleman, but there was also like a Indian-looking woman at one point too, and the words coming out of her mouth were very conservative. They were talking about American politics, and essentially,
okay. If you can find that, ship that to me.
Indian woman, Indira Naidu.
That actually could very well be it.
Bit of a chunkier sort of lady.
Yeah, very pretty in the face too. Very.
Gorgeous. But
hey, Mike, careful with that chunky stuff. Hey, I got to play you
more
guys.
Cushion for the pushing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Arr. I got to play you a cut that you guys are going to love. This is a little Halo. So you gotta stop doing this to us, please.
Stop sharing videos and pictures of people at riots. The police are tracking these people down.
Such a
and
shame.
by posting pictures of them, you are threatening their lives.
And
so please stop posting pictures of them.
They're being charged with the crimes they're committing.
Stop sharing
the bastards.
videos and pictures of people at riots.
That's right, because they might actually get arrested. You can't have that.
God forbid people get held accountable for their actions. That's not the Antifa way.
One final story before we go tonight.
Okay, because I have something I want to rant about, so go ahead.
Okay. We can toss it. We can make this quick if you want to. Because this is, again, Schadenfreude. I love this. This is out of Breitbart. And Google, by the way, has killed the crap out of Breitbart so that you don't see a fraction of what's out there from Breitbart. The headline is Ratings Crash for NBA, MLB after protest-filled debuts. So,
not NHL.
I'm getting, well, now, did you see the two teams that kneeled today?
No, the bastards.
Yep.
Better not have been my home team.
And I tell you what, I've said for quite some time, I'm done with the NFL. I'm done with all the pituitary cases in the NBA. The MLB has pissed me off. NASCAR's pissed me off. I was hoping there for a moment like you were. Maybe the NHL. No, they've pulled it out too. So there isn't really, I don't know, MMA? No. That's about the only thing.
No, you watch. That's going to be.
Then it'll be next.
PBR?
No, it won't be PBR.
Pabst Blue Ribbon?
What, rodeo? Professional rodeo?
Professional bull riding, yeah.
Oh, but when you say PBR to me, that's either a boat from Vietnam or that's Pabst Blue Ribbon. Because I experienced both.
No.
Okay. All right. So, is the NFL coming back?
No.
There are no fans left.
Is the NBA coming back?
No.
Okay. Now, how about Major League Baseball?
No.
Nope.
What do you think about NASCAR?
Nope. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of alternative to all of these sports start popping up.
NHL?
Yep.
NHL, yes. I think NHL will stay because NHL is way more international than any of the other sports. You realize NHL is like soccer outside of America. Almost every country north of the equator plays hockey. And I don't think
know too many hockey teams from Bolivia. That's a good point.
Yeah, well, you look at all the Eastern Bloc countries, a lot of Northern Europe. Hockey is huge. I think Australia actually fielded a hockey team at the Olympics a couple of years ago. Hockey's
Bolivian hockey? Oh, hell yeah.
Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Australia's got a national ice hockey team.
Yeah, it's a very prevalent sport outside of America.
Although most of that team's made up from roller hockey here, mostly because the cost of keeping ice skating rinks in Australia is not as economical it is in the northern parts of the US and Canada.
Do they get roller
Although
derby?
the fighting is definitely, go to a fight in a hockey game breaks out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's the worst thing in the world, especially as a goalie.
Do you guys have roller derby, Jack? Did you guys have roller derby? Where the big chunky chicks just elbow the crap out of each other?
In the 70s.
Yeah,
it was massive here in the 70s. They've tried to bring it back every now and then.
Joni Weston, roller derby.
Yeah, no, I can see that being huge. Like roller derby was serious for a long time.
We used to watch roller derby here in Sacramento on Channel 40. Roller derby with Joni Weston. She was a chunk of change.
What's sort of stopping roller derby from coming back, at least in Australia, is that it got out that most of the women that were involved with it don't like men. So men won't watch.
Huh. Yeah, and I never thought about that when I was watching roller derby. I was just like, this shit's awesome.
Yeah,
like this,
I was just digging the violence. Look, it's a chick fight.
30 miles an hour into a turn and you're throwing them over the top
That's right.
rail.
You got a couple of chicks launching the
As a hockey
heaviest
player,
chick.
when I was playing hockey growing up, how can you not? That's like the new X Games sport with the hockey downhill, where it's all this ice that rolls downhill and has a few jumps and some turns. Oh, I love watching that. It's amazing. They're all elbowing each other and what?
Downhill hockey.
Yes, I don't know. They're not. They don't have the sticks in the puck. It's
Downhill
a race.
Hockey.
It's an ice skating race. But these guys are skating like hockey players. They're bumping each other, elbowing each other. It's a hell of a ride.
So there's no puck.
No, it's a race. But they're on skates, and they're hockey players. You can tell,
and you get to elbow the crap out of each other as you're going down the hill.
It's downhill like a luge almost.
Last guy
but
standing
four
wins.
Of them together.
Last guy standing wins.
Yes,
I like that.
Yeah,
it's Battle Royal Slalom. Yeah.
Yeah, how great is it?
Actually, I'm disappointed that ESPN did away with super modified snow shovel racing. You had the guys that had bolted the skis onto their rooftop luggage carriers. The wrecks in that were spectacular. I thought, finally, a Winter Olympic sport that I could actually get involved with. But then ESPN up and nixes it because it's too dangerous.
All I can think of is Better Off Dead, the movie with John Cusack in the 80s. I want my $2.
Did they have nitrous fueled? They should have had nitrous fueled.
Everything should be nitrous fueled.
Yeah. Snow shovel racing. You got a little nitrous bottle on there, and you got it all hooked up, and at the last second, you crank that bad boy open.
You're also talking to the guy that I think we should have an all-steroid Olympics.
Oh.
I'd love to see it.
Oh,
it'd be full of transgenders.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Oh. Wouldn't you like to see? Okay, there's the regular weightlifting championships, or I'm sorry, bodybuilding championships,
whatever you want to call it,
and sometimes they have it like a all natural championship.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to see
all steroids?
And it's featured only big ass steroids in the bodybuilding, the greatest amount of steroids possible.
Do you remember Saturday Night Live in the 90s? And I can tell you that it was God, I forget his name, but one of the Saturday Night Live, he hosted Saturday Night Live, the news, but they did
Huey Lewis.
No, Huey Lewis in the news.
Biggest dick in porn. Biggest dick in rock.
In reality. But they did, the comparison side by side for the 92 Olympics, and they're like, oh, the Americans, and this is the Russian, and he's lifting, he goes, and he stands straight up and his arms fall off and they're still attached to the dumbbell and there's just blood squirting out of his arms.
That sounds like a Monty Python.
Oh, it was amazing. And it was, I can't think of his name right now, but Kevin Nealon. Kevin Nealon was the okay. He was the one who did it. But it was, I would love to see the old steroid Olympics. How far can you hit a baseball? 500, 600, 700 yards? Let's see it.
Yeah, let's how much can you lift? Deadlift without having your intestines go out your asshole.
Yeah, Greco-Roman wrestling. I want to see you bend
steroids
literally in half.
I want to see guys with little teeny heads that look like the Hulk.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be fucking great.
And with that,
hey, if you want to see something like that, then rent a copy of the Val Kilmer film.
Yeah.
What?
I can't think of the name, Jack. I know what you're talking about.
What?
Oh.
I am at a loss for that. A Val Kilmer film about what?
Oh.
Top secret.
Top secret. Thank you. Zucker Abrams Zucker.
Welcomed by the East German gymnastics team.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to go look for
Oh,
that.
Top Secret. Zucker Abrams Zucker is the same guys that did Airplane and Naked Gun. They did a spy movie set in World War II-ish, and Val Kilmer is the American celebrity who has to go infiltrate the Nazis. It's fucking amazing.
Okay.
Oh, what about the opening song? If everybody had a 12 gauge and a shotgun too.
Oh, the movie was amazing. The underwater bar fight. Nathan.
Look, if you just want to look at a film that is so on the money at taking the Mickey out of Hollywood cliques and cliches, Top Secret is fantastic.
Yes. Chocolate mousse. BZ. So the French Resistance had this humongous giant black guy, and his code name was Chocolate Mousse. It was the best movie. Latrine was one of the other henchmen. Latrine!
Deja vu.
Oh, when the grenade came in and Latrine jumped on it and everybody else blew up. It was just...
Yep. Noughts and crosses in the gunfight.
Yeah. Oh, when the cow bangs him and he's walking funny.
Sorry, I should have called it tic-tac. I should have called it tic-tac.
Ransacked my laboratory and brought me to this dungeon. That sucks. For the first time in my life, I'm ashamed of being a scientist.
What do you mean?
They are forcing me to create a horrible weapon.
Can't you refuse?
I wish I could. But they are holding my daughter. They'll kill her unless I complete the Polaris mine by Sunday.
Sunday? That's Simchas Torah.
And the day the entire NATO submarine fleet passes through the Straits of Gibraltar.
The submarine
Is this the Polaris mine?
into the process.
Yes. By Sunday, I will be able to arm it with a nuclear warhead.
How does it work?
It is a magnetic mine. So powerful, it will attract itself to submarines miles away.
How about that?
Oh, no!
It smashes through the goddamn wall! And then the
You must go
spy...
now quickly. If they find out you've seen this, your life will be worth less than a truckload of dead rats in a tampon factory.
Germans. Okay. I guess we're going to have to wrap it up.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Okay. Well, Jack, thanks for being here tonight. You've been a classy
You're
guy.
welcome, man.
We appreciate it. Heads SHAUN, thanks for being here tonight.
I'm fucking awesome.
You've been a classy guy.
Oh, I am.
And we appreciate your being here. We really do.
Monsieur! Herr
Okay, Jack, take us out. Jack, take us out.
Hey, what?
Take us
Come
out.
on, baby.
Do the outro. Come on.
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you've been listening to the Berserk Bobcat Saloon right here on the SHR Media Network.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
You get the next part, Jack.
Hey.
These fucking
I don't
Aussies.
know it. I don't know it. I'm just drawing
I know he knows it. He's
Tiaras by My Little Pony.
Close enough.
Special thanks to the KC-135 refueling team, to which he will be consorting with momentarily.
That's it. That's it. Jack, come on, Jack. Jack.
Yeah, and what was it?
Pratt and
special
Whitney.
consideration to Boeing.
Boeing, got
If it ain't Boeing, you ain't going.
Boeing. If it ain't Boeing, he ain't going.
And Pratt and Whitney engines, thrust you can trust.
Yep, that's it.
Don't forget about Skunk Works.
Oh, that's right. Jack, we're going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, we're gonna have to go. Damn it, Jim.
I don't have the script in front of me.
I don't either. I'm just drunk.
I know. I'll have to mail it to you. Thanks, everybody. See you next Thursday.
Hey, Jack,
this
always
Thursday.
a pleasure.
This Thursday, right?
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Jack, go to bed, goddammit.
Yeah.
Good night, Mama.
It's late. It's tomorrow,
Good night,
Jack.
everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, children. Good night,
Sean.
Daddy. Good night,
Good night,
Elizabeth.
BZ.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, BZ.